Okay, we're back. Now, we're going to be watching some stuff on Prince Andrews. Now, the name of the video is not going to be him. It's not going to be about him, getting his titles stripped from him. I got another video pulled up after this. I just want to. This happened 3 months ago. Prince Andrews got his titles stripped from him because of his connection with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, there was a woman who talked about Prince Andrews abusing her. And one of the things that she said about him was that he sweated a lot. His response or his excuse for that type of claim was, actually, I had a condition where I just couldn't sweat. Whatever condition that might have been. Keep in mind, he said that he had never met her. However, he's seen in pictures with her, and he settled a lawsuit with her for like $10-13 million. So you take that for what it's worth. Let's watch this first video, then we'll move on to the next one.
Here's to the go-getters.
Uh-oh. Of course, there's going to be another ad.
Had sex with you 3 times.
No.
No to all
This the interview where he denied everything.
of it.
All of it. Absolutely no to all of it.
This is pretty bad for the monarchy as a whole.
It has been what I would describe as a constant sore in the family.
I think really the best strategy is, as far as the royals are concerned, to sort of put that distance up.
Yeah, more than 10 years after he was first accused of having sex with a teen trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein, Prince Andrew, the former Duke of York, making the shocking choice to relinquish his royal title after reported
He relinquished?
from the king.
He relinquished or he was stripped?
The spotlight seems to come back time and again onto Prince Andrew.
In an official statement sent to ET from the palace, Andrew says he came to the decision after discussions with his brother, King Charles, and his family. Quote, "We have concluded the
They probably brought him in and said, hey, man, you need to do this. If you don't want to do this, we're going to take it from you. He was given an ultimatum. That's what I think.
continued accusations about me distract from the work of His Majesty and the royal family. I have decided, as I always have, to put my duty to my family and my country first." Andrew continues to deny any wrongdoing.
I've said consistently and frequently that we never had any sort of sexual contact whatever. If somebody's going to make those sorts of allegations, then I've just got to have a thick skin and get on with it.
This comes 6 years after Andrew's late mother, Queen Elizabeth, urged Andrew to step back from his royal duties and his 6-figure salary.
What he is losing is the ability and the privilege to represent the Queen in public. I think they both realised that Andrew's position was untenable and there was no choice but for him to step back.
So why is now the time for him to drop his title? Well, the Times reports the king came to a tipping point this week after a resurfaced email between the prince and Epstein raised new questions about when the friends cut ties. Here's what Andrew told the BBC's Newsnight in a bombshell interview back in 2019.
December of 2010, you went to stay with him at his New York mansion. Why?
I went there with the
After he was already a convicted sex offender.
sole purpose of saying to him that because he had been convicted, it was inappropriate for us to be seen together. To this day, I never had any contact with him from that day forward.
But check out this message, reportedly sent months later, right around the time this photo with Andrew's alleged victim, Virginia Giuffre, came to light. Yep, that's Epstein's co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, in the background.
But I can tell you categorically, I do not remember a photograph being taken.
Andrew says in the email, "It would seem we are in this together and we will have to rise above it. Otherwise, keep in close touch and we'll play some more soon."
Well, I don't think there can be any comeback full stop for Prince Andrew. I don't know how you recover from these sort of very damaging headlines and these new allegations.
I'm not a confrontationalist myself. I would prefer to be able to, as it were, resolve things in a way that is sensible.
Andrew should really just, for the sake of his brother, for the sake of the future of the monarchy, just be seen to be very, very low key, not causing a fuss, and really going to ground.
Let's check out this one now. Okay. This was 3 days ago. These are new photos. So that last video was 3 months ago whenever he was stripped from his title. Now it said that he relinquished, but I also got another page pulled up right here. He said it says title stripped. The king formally removed the title of prince and the dukedom of York via letters, patent, and royal warrant, effective November 2025. Title stripped, name change, military honors was removed. He was evicted from a royal lodge. The reasoning is the actions were taken due to his relationship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and related sexual assault allegations, which he has consistently denied. These are new pictures, though. Prince Edward breaks royal silence about Andrews. Okay, we're going to watch this one too next. Let's check this out. Let's see the photos.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, crouched over an unidentified woman, are featured in the latest disclosure of files linked to the late American sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The images are among more than 3 million documents published by the Trump administration. It's not known where they were taken. Mr. Mountbatten Windsor has been asked for comment, but he hasn't responded. He's previously denied any wrongdoing. The US Justice Department said this was the final batch of material that would be published. John Sudworth has the details.
In and amongst the more than 180,000 images released are these pictures showing the then Prince Andrew kneeling over and touching a female whose identity has been hidden. There's no context, location or date provided. Andrew has always denied any criminal wrongdoing, but this latest batch of files once again contains items raising serious questions of judgment, not least an email exchange from 2010, long after his close friend Jeffrey Epstein had been convicted of sexual offences involving children, suggesting he meet with a 26-year-old Russian woman in London who he might enjoy having dinner with. Andrew replies he would be delighted to see her and adds, "Will she be bringing a message from you? Please give her my contact details to get in touch." Epstein writes back, "She's 26, Russian, clever and beautiful, and yes, she has your email."
We will continue reducing.
The new files also contain further revelations about Peter Mandelson, who last year lost his job as British ambassador to Washington after it became clear his friendship with Epstein had been deeper than previously known. They include the claim that the sex offender sent Lord Mandelson's then partner, now husband, Ronaldo Avila da Silva, £10,000 to cover the cost of an osteopathy course. Lord Mandelson has described his friendship as a most terrible mistake and says he wasn't aware of Epstein's crimes.
Sure.
There's little, though, to pose a real threat to President Trump, apart from some unsubstantiated allegations which the FBI had already ruled out, nor, his administration says, anything to prove a wider conspiracy. But with so many documents withheld or redacted, Jeffrey Epstein's victims do not believe they've yet been given the whole truth.
When the president signed the bill in November, it was to release all the files. All the files need to be released. They haven't been released. So that's what closure looks like. That's what justice looks like, whether anyone's prosecuted or not. Get the full information out there so the public, the survivors, and everyone can really know what's going on.
With continuing calls for him to give evidence in America, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has yet to respond to the latest revelations, but he's always strenuously denied any wrongdoing.
John Sudworth there. Well, the documents also include email correspondence between tech billionaire Elon Musk and Epstein. The new emails show that Musk, who's not been accused of any wrongdoing in the case, discussed travelling to Epstein's island on more than one occasion, including a 2012 trip where he asked Epstein, "What day/night will be the wildest party on your island?" There's no evidence that Mr. Musk ever did end up taking a trip to Epstein's island. Writing on X, he says, "No one pushed harder than me to have the Epstein files released, and I'm glad that has finally happened. I had very little correspondence with Epstein and declined repeated invitations to go to his island or fly on his Lolita Express, but was well aware that some email correspondence with him could be misinterpreted and used by detractors to smear my name. Well, Gloria Allred, a prominent civil rights attorney, represents many of Epstein's victims. She gave her reaction to the latest release of files.
Some of them are completely devastated by the fact that the Attorney General, the Department of Justice, was supposed to and indicated that they were redacting victims' names, the survivors' names. And yet, today, with the release of these more than 3 million files, many of the names of my clients who have been Jane Doe for many, many years were in fact published. And this is devastating to them, and we have to deal with that because, you know, they had little or no trust in the government. Now they have no trust in the government because the government has not earned that trust. And the Assistant Attorney General today, Todd Blanche, in his press conference said that he hopes that the release of the files will bring closure to the victims. This is ridiculous because they have
with me.
Hey, before you head out, can you write up that process?
I kind of want to hear this guy right here before we go to the other video, that last video, real quick.
John, a number of questions from this, but first of all, the administration indicating this is the final batch. Is that likely to be the case?
That's what they're saying, that they have complied with the law, which was that they release all relevant files, except for a few exceptions for legal reasons or to protect the identities of the victims. But they say this is pretty much it. What's interesting, Geeta, I think in some ways this story is now playing bigger in the UK than it is in the US. Some US news sites I noticed not even leading on this story this morning, and I think that's, of course, because of the involvement of people like Andrew
Who are powerful.
Windsor, Peter Mandelson, etc. There are, of course, other high-profile American figures caught up in this latest batch of documents. The Microsoft founder Bill Gates, for example, in what looks like an email that wasn't sent, written by Jeffrey Epstein. The suggestion in these files is that Bill Gates caught a sexually transmitted disease. He has called that suggestion absurd and false, and like everybody involved in this, all strenuously denying any involvement in anything, certainly anything wrong, and very definitely nothing criminal. And actually, these files bear that out. We heard Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's personal lawyer and Deputy Attorney General, sort of releasing these latest batch of documents, saying that there is no evidence here of co-conspirators. If there was, he said, we would be prosecuting those individuals. The trouble with all of this, of course, we were told last year that there were a potential 6 million documents they were looking at. Now we're told they have finished with the release of 3.5 million of them. So somewhere 2.5 million haven't been released. For the Justice Department, they will say that's because they're irrelevant or legally confidential or need to be redacted to protect victims. For those who see conspiracy in that, in any of this, they will say they're being withheld precisely for that reason, to continue the cover-up. And so, of course, I think as much as the Justice Department, as much as the Trump administration wants to draw a line.
Let's watch the other one real quick. Prince Edward.
It's all really important always to remember the victims and who are the victims in all this.
You know, it's been dominating headlines. We all know the last few days have been very interesting, very difficult, and I'm sure for you, sir, as well. This is an important question to ask, and I want to ask it in the context of what we've seen from their majesties and their response, and they're saying that we should be focused specifically on the experience of the victims. The palace has been very, very clear on that. We've just heard some commentary from Prime Minister Keir Starmer as well, and bearing that in mind, and he's saying that there needs to be assistance for the victims. And I wonder what you think of this, because it is so close to home, clearly very difficult, and I know you've put in various plans in place to move the institution forward, but how are you coping with that?
Well, with the best will in the world, I'm not sure this is the audience that is probably the least bit interested in that. So they all came here to listen to about education solving the future. But no, I think it's all really important always to remember the victims. And who are the victims in all this?
Absolutely.
A lot of victims in this.
No, I know, and it's very difficult, and I completely understand. But super important for us to ask this because of all the work that you do and the effort you put into everything, so we appreciate that.
I guess that's that. Prince Andrews. Maybe he'll face maybe he'll face justice. Maybe he won't. I mean, like, he is still related to very powerful people. Even if the titles have been stripped, even if his monthly allowance has been taken from him, he is still related, connected to very powerful people. I mean, like, who knows what he might know? He might have information that other powerful people don't want to get out. So he might say, "Look, I'm not going to jail. If I go to jail, I'm telling on you too." It could be one of them situations. But get inside the comment section below. Think about this. Do not forget to hit that like button.